creative doesn't mean it has to be dramatic.
Give yourself a reality check or like assess where that desire is coming from.
Oh,
What do you
probably
think?
gonna like make a lot of people uncomfortable. Use AI to be creative.
In making it, brought out new creative because we hadn't made posts like that. All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Out and About podcast, where we break down all things marketing and financial services and what we see working, what's not working, especially as we move into the new year. So I'm super excited. We're kind of into the new year by the time this is getting out, but it's still pretty fresh as we're chatting. So I'm joined today by Ellie and Jimmy.
Three of us, yay!
Three of us are here, and I'm so excited. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna do intros, but I feel like we all know each other at this point, right? But if you don't, go hop over to our website and you can read all about us. But yeah, we're excited for our topic today because we're going to talk about something that honestly some of our clients have asked us about. But before we dive in, we have to do our what are we saying yes to? And the theme of today's podcast is kind of creativity. So maybe we'll just leave it broad at that. Like, what are you excited about in 2026 when it comes to creative, the creative side of marketing? Anything standing out? We did not prepare for this, folks, ahead of time. So we're all a little coming back off the holidays, dusting off the brain. But
Yeah.
Okay,
I was like,
I'll
shoot,
volunteer.
was I supposed to get this one ready? And then somebody said we weren't.
no,
I was gonna say,
I
I'll
thought about
volunteer
it.
as
I thought about it. I
tribute.
just didn't write it
I'll go
down.
next. I got one. Yeah, you go as tribute. I'll go next.
Okay, I volunteer as tribute.
Go, Jimmy.
Assuming the other
That's
two
right.
of you don't
He's
have
going to
anything.
take our
but
idea.
okay.
That's why he wants to go first.
Oh man. Okay, so I'll go first then. I think what I'm saying yes to for 2026 is use AI to be creative, not to be
What do you
probably
think?
gonna like make a lot of people uncomfortable.
Now
Not
Ellie's
to
like,
be
what?
not to be lazy. Use AI to be creative, not to be lazy.
No AI slop, right? Do you want to tell us more what you mean about that? Like, what do you mean by being creative?
So, kind of like let AI be that second voice, that kind of sounding board, that second voice to give you opinions of what you have created instead of saying, hey AI, create something for me. And then you look at it and go, not too bad. All right, pass the test, I'll take it.
You
Like
sit in
kind
the
of do it
artist
the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, you sit in the creator seat and let that be the critique instead of
Yeah, you create.
yes, instead of
Yeah.
like that's the creator, that's
Yes.
the author, artist, whatever,
Correct.
and you're the
Yes,
critique.
yes to that. No to AI slop.
Love it. I love it. That's a good one. Ellie?
Oh, I think I changed mine halfway through. Mine's gonna be, I'm stealing it from the title of a book that I have on my shelf back here. It sounds bad, so don't judge it at first blush. But Stealing Like an Artist. It's the title of a design book. So like, I don't know, I feel like in the creative field we're sometimes like, oh well, I mean I got this idea because I saw something, but I can't like, but that would be like copying. I can't just take that. There's like a little bit of guilt, a little bit of like ego in that like, well, I didn't come up with it. But someone else did something cool and you can riff off of that, and that's okay. Like, we all build on each other, we all play on each other, as long as you're literally not stealing someone's file and doing the exact same thing. Like, there is nothing, I think we should embrace like looking at cool things other people are doing out there and saying, hey, would that work for me? How can we do it our own way? What learnings can I take from that? What shouldn't I take from that? And just like being okay and cool with that. And then everybody's everything gets better in that way. So
Oh, I
it.
totally
Like an artist.
agree. And like several months ago, I came across this several YouTubes. You know how it goes. You start with one, you go down the rabbit hole, and they convinced me, all of these YouTube videos of like experts in the music industry, that almost all of the songs could fall into buckets of like I think 4 chords or something like that. So
my
if you
gosh.
feel guilty about it, just know that we all start with the basic building blocks. So
right.
yeah.
We all want to film that video
Mhm.
and be convinced. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know what. Okay, you've like changed mine. This is what happens. See, that's why Jimmy went first.
I know, that's why I volunteer as tribute. I'm like, let me go first.
I know. Yeah. Well, okay. So when it comes to creative, so just in my own life, I found myself leaning a little more analog, a little less like a little more read a book instead of scrolling the internet. Like that's just on my personal side. And I think that it can translate. I think when it comes to creative, I love when people are kind of what Ellie was saying, like riffing, but like um taking from other industries or like, you know what I mean? Like not just repeating everything that everyone else is doing, but like so, you see a cool something from a totally different industry, totally different artist, totally, you know what I mean? And like incorporating it into what you're doing. I feel like that's where a lot of creativity is coming because there's just so much, it's building on what you said, Jimmy. Like there's so much AI and like opportunity to just repeat, like, oh, that's working, so we need to do it too. But I'm loving when people are just like, well, yeah, just looking outside, just like getting outside of the bubble that we're all in, like reading a book, going outside, getting some real actual creative juices flowing. So that's what's making me excited. I wish I had examples, but the create when it comes to creative, I just keep thinking about like retro nostalgia, like that kind of stuff just makes me happy and I feel like we're seeing a lot of that these days. Um, so yeah. Cool. Well, so the sort of marketing challenge that we want to tackle today is around just creativity. And I think we hear two main things from our clients or really like, people sitting in the marketing seat. This is what they're hearing from internally or the pressure they're feeling. So either number one, tired of looking at the brand, we did the same thing, did the same social media posts all last year or whatever. How can we breathe some life into it? Or just the creative pressure in general that I think a lot of people in the marketing seat feel like they're supposed to be the creative side of the brand, the creative side of the company. So I just want to have a conversation today about how we can inspire them without, it doesn't mean you have to go be the next TikTok personality. It doesn't mean you have to like reinvent the brand this year. We're not throwing out the logo and all the colors, but like, what are some ways we can really kind of um, inject a little bit? And I'll say this too. I feel like the word modernize or like we want things to look modern is probably the knock on the door that they're getting a lot of. We need to look 2026, whatever that means. And so, yeah, I don't know where we want to start, but like there's so many, you've seen my list. Like we can go deep dive into like creativity and all of that, but um I don't know. Do you guys have any initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess mine is before we get into like actually ways to be creative. I feel like I'm the Debbie Downer in the room, but I'm like, we all get sick of, especially I've worked in house before. Like I haven't always worked at an agency that does client facing work. Like I've worked in house for many years and it's easy to get sick of your own brand. Like people
Yes.
who work at Target get real sick of red, but that doesn't mean they should change red. So I
Yes.
think the important part is to kind of like just kind of not fact check yourself, but kind of like give yourself a reality check or like assess where that desire is coming from. Is your
Mhm.
is or is the or is that the desire or the ask, is that coming from like an actual need? Are things actually dated? Are you still posting horizontal social media posts on LinkedIn, even though LinkedIn started supporting square posts like 4 years ago? Like, are you actually outdated or are you just bored? And if if you might just be bored and it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or look for incremental improvements. Like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like I'm just picking on social media here, but like, okay, so you've been doing meet the team posts. That doesn't mean you have to blow that up. Maybe you start adding a different element to it or frame it up a little bit differently. Like if it's just coming from a desire for newness, just kind of like examine where that desire is coming from and if it's just a personal desire or if it's actually a strategic business motivated desire to
Yes,
change.
you're not being a Debbie Downer at all because I think that's sort of the foundation of this conversation is that people either feel an internal pressure or an external pressure,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, to modernize. Like, okay, well that worked. We've been doing that for a few years, but now it's 2026, whatever that means. So now
Mm-hmm.
we have to like make it fresh and new somehow,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that's actually really encouraging to people to like just take a step back and like, does it need to be updated? And maybe, I don't know, Jimmy,
And oh, sorry.
go ahead. I have a question,
I
but
was
go
going to say, and if it does, ask yourself that question. And if you do come to the answer that, no, there really is a need, it's a good process to help you identify the need. And that'll get you closer to the best creative solution for the need. Like I said, do you need to update because you're using a digital tool in not the way is best practice anymore? Or do you need to update because no, truly our brand looks like it's stuck in 1995 and it's not putting our best foot forward and it's making us look unprofessional and that's why we need to update? It's just like asking yourself that question, even if you do determine that, yes, there is a valid reason why we're itching to, be new or be 2026 or, reinvent something. At least then you've identified the core need and that'll get you closer to the best solution.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just to add to like what you said, right? Like, oh, people working Target, they'll probably be like, oh, we've been using the same red. Can we change to another color and things like that? I think we have to kind of look at the why. Like, sure, sometimes we'll feel that like, something needs to be updated, but we need to kind of look at the why. Why do we want to be updated? Do we feel dated? Like, kind of really break it down into something more tangible. Is it data? Is it the color? Is it this? Is it the orientation of the post or things like that? Because you don't want to. And again, I kind of liken it to like how we would have a certain look for a couple of years, and then we'll think, I kind of think my personal image needs a change. And then the first thing would be like, oh, everyone's cutting their hair, I'll cut my hair too. But you know what? Maybe your hair is the thing that's working for you, and you cut it, and that's it, right? So fix what is not working for you. Keep what's working for you, and ask people like, is my hair boring? Like, if they tell you it's working, then okay, it's something else. Maybe it's your lipstick, maybe it's your clothes. So I think it's important to look in the right direction.
I love
It
that.
kind of makes me think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it kind of just makes me think of when like TikTok was first out, and so many brands were like, we have to be on TikTok, like we have to do TikToks. It's like, but is that right for you? Is that really like the realm you should? And I do appreciate that a lot of brands, like I feel like more quickly than previous social media platforms, because it wasn't the first rodeo anymore. More brands like, yeah, no, that's not really our thing. That's not like really a brand place. We're not going to go there. It's not right for us. And your haircut analogy just made me think of that. Like I was just with my girlfriends the other day, and apparently bobs are back. And my girlfriends all look so cute with their bobs, and I was like, nope, I know that if I get a bob, it's going to look real bad. So that one's not right for me.
You're going to like it for all of 1 second.
Yeah.
Life experience. Go ahead.
No, I should say just putting it through the filter. Yeah, and assessing like, okay, it's always good to look at something new and say, is there something in it for me? Could that work? Could I make it work in a slightly different way? But the answer is no, that's okay.
I love that. So how do you know? Okay, and I say this truly, everyone on the team knows this. Like, I am not a designer. This is why we have amazing Ellie and others. Like, if I touch a deck, it's probably going to need to get tweaked a little bit because I don't have the eye. So it's easy for me to look at something and go, oh, that needs to be more modern, or it looks fine because I don't really know. Or maybe I do know in my gut. I don't know how to articulate it. So maybe you can help us unpack that a little bit, Ellie. Like, how do you actually know if something is outdated? I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't know the answer, but.
I mean, I think there's some things that are just literally in terms of time. Like I like to say, if your logo is old enough that it could have a driver's license, probably needs an update. Unless you're really lucky, like some logos just get designed and they just kind of honestly like get lucky in that they don't go out of style. Like you can, logo designers can do so. I'm just picking on logos as an example, but you can try to design a timeless logo and it might stay timeless, or you might just get unlucky and that certain style might go out of style. So, time wise, if your logo is old enough it could drive a car, definitely think about it. If your logo is old enough that it could have children, yes, you probably need to. Unless you are a 150-year-old legacy brand, probably needs an update.
But even they
and with websites, it's like I'd say like 5 years. If your website's been around for 5 years, like chances are, especially even in just terms of functionality, and it's not that it needs to be from the ground up, but make sure the features are all up to date. Make sure you go and clear out all your plugins, because what if WordPress doesn't support those certain features anymore? Design is harder just in terms of like your brand look and feel, because I mean I love and hate my job in that it's subjective. Like there's no data points I can point to. I mean, unless you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you can get those data points from focus groups and things. But if you're not lucky enough to sit in that kind of seat, you don't get that kind of data. But I would say, just ask your most aesthetically inclined colleagues or friends or coworkers. Like, I know it's not rocket science, but if you know someone who's always dressed really sharply and they know how to decorate their house really well, like at least they have an eye and just get their opinion. And if you start hearing, and don't take one person's opinion and take that as gospel, but if you start hearing similar things from people and they're like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of giving me Y2K vibes, or I guess that's a positive thing now. Y2K is cool again. You know what I mean? Like, if you start hearing similar things and people are kind of like, yeah, maybe, then I would take a
looking for
look.
Or
those
like, I'm
trends.
glad you
I'm
asked.
glad you asked.
Yeah, and also, I just really want to get this in. Ask the right people. Like you said, like, oh, those who are like, like trendy or stylish, like, yeah, ask the right people because otherwise it's you're gonna confuse yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And ask people who you know would be honest with you.
exactly. Yeah.
You don't have
Tell
to
you
look
as
at
it
people who are
is.
going to be brutally honest, but at least somewhat honest.
Love that. Okay,
Thanks.
Jimmy.
Oh,
Oh, no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was going to turn the tables back on you guys because I feel like we've talked about, I have dominated the conversation with like design and branding aspect. Like, I always, it trickles down to me of, like people want to hop on like, oh, we should do this new type of email campaign. Or like when I mentioned
Yes.
TikTok, like brands wanting to hop on TikTok. Like, if there's a new tactical strategy or, approach that people are like, oh, should we do that? How would they? I mean, just same question, just back at you guys in terms of
I
like
was gonna ask that of Jimmy because I loved what you said. I want to break that apart earlier, what you said earlier around like watching the data. Right? So you
Yeah,
see certain things are performing, certain things are not performing. That can be a way to like, and we've seen this internally, right? Like we've worked with clients and we do the same kind of social posts, and that's great for branding. But then we're like, let's try this new, I call it trend. They're like really not trends, but like animated video or things like that. Um, and then we just watch the data, and if it performs, we do more. Like so, yeah. What are your thoughts?
yeah, kind of like going off of what Ellie said, right? Like, oh, design can be subjective and all that, unless you have, like big corporations, you could have like, research companies that do focus groups and things like that, data points, and that's what I'm trying to point to. If you have that, that's great, that's amazing. If you don't have that, definitely, if you have a website, if you have a social media, you have a dashboard that you can look at. You have Google Analytics, you have a dashboard, you can look at that. Just kind of look at that and see, if the data tells you anything. And just something simple. If you used to get this amount of traffic on your website and now it's lower, then dive a little bit deeper. Like, where is it dropping? Is it on your blog page? Is it on this? Is it sometimes it's not your whole webpage that needs a redesign or some creative new touches. It could be just your homepage. It could be just your blog. People are reading differently now. Maybe you need a video element or something like that. Take a trend that you kind of feel instinctively like this might work or this is trending right now. You want to give it a try, but don't totally turn one way because then you're confusing yourself again. Like, oh, was it this? Or like, so keep this, try a little bit, monitor that. Does it work? Is it performing better than what you used to do? If so, take a little bit more, like that.
Yeah. So, one thing, sorry, my brain's going a million places, but one thing I was thinking about with that, going back to sort of we've been watching our own data or with our clients and like, let's try this, let's try that. And it reminded me of what Ellie said earlier about like asking your client, asking your colleagues or whatever. I think that's a great way to get new ideas as well. Is just if there are others on the team that are like, I had this idea. I don't want to give specifics, but like one thing we did on social last month, I just looked at the data, performed really well. And it was just somebody on our team had this idea and we kind of just ran with it. It was a different format of a post and it incorporated a lot of the team. And we just went with it. And then now I'm already like, how can we make a lot more of our posts like that? Because it obviously does really well. So I mean, it did bring out, just in making it, brought out new creative because we hadn't made posts like that before. So it was like, well, how are we going to incorporate the brand into doing it that way? You know what I mean? Like it forces the creative just by like doing a different tactic and just trying it. Okay. Everyone's like, it's the awkward silence. Never good.
No,
Never
what?
good
I was just
radio.
gonna add. I was just gonna add something that being creative doesn't mean it has to be dramatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Sometimes I mean, I'm sure I'm not a visual designer or graphic designer, but I'm sure Ellie, you'll attest to it that sometimes the slightest shift, just you will see the difference.
Mhm.
That's
It's
what
one
I
of
was
those, something's different about you. You look great, but I can't tell what it is,
Right. Mhm.
right?
the new glasses, Jimmy. That's what it is. No. But I was going to ask you
That's
about that. I
it.
know that's a question we have on here, and I think it's a question that does come up is like, how do you experiment with like elements without like doing the over the top thing that Jimmy just said? Like, how do you like tweak things or add things? I say this on a very tactical level. Like, do you play around with like the logo in different like bigger or small? Like we play with our ampersand, right? Like is
Mhm.
that what you do? Or like is it around icons, like color gradients? I don't know. Like where do you play or where do you know is safe to play when you're like creating, say, like a new social media graphics, for
Mhm.
instance?
I say personally, like just from a design perspective, I'm just like, okay, how would I approach this? I'm like probably what I would do is like, we've been talking about, when okay, you see some shiny thing, some shiny pretty thing that some other company did, and you're like, oh, why can't we do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Look at it, analyze it. I mean, that can be the hard part too if you don't have like a design background and you're looking at it from a design perspective, or look at it from a content perspective. Like, what am I reacting to? Like,
Yeah.
what about this is drawing me in?
Yeah.
Is it like, don't take the, to your point, Jimmy, like you were saying, like sometimes one little thing can make the difference. Sometimes when we see these really cool things and we think like, oh my God, all of this is so amazing. But then once you like start getting down to it, it's just one part of that that makes it great. Or there's one singular thing that really
Mm.
put it over the top. Um, so yeah, if you see something out there that you're coveting and wishing that your company could do more of, try to pull it apart
Break
and
it
figure out
down.
if it, yes, like what is that one thing that I'm reacting to? And then if I took that one thing and we tried doing something like that or made that change, like, just the way they're treating the headshots, or oh my gosh, they made this headline giant and it looks really cool in my LinkedIn feed because it's right in your face or something like that. Or actually someone just shared we have a little design Slack channel. And was it you, Tiffany, that shared the one of like the social media, the LinkedIn post where it was like the bouncing desktop icons?
I can't remember who shared it, but yeah.
It was very reminiscent of those like old school screensavers, like in the TVs in the classroom where the little like thing moved
You're
around and
like
like went,
waiting. The
Oh,
office, like the office,
yeah,
like it's gonna
or
go.
yeah,
like
the office where
Yeah.
the CDs or what do you get?
and I,
LDs, laser disc or something like that, and then they'll have the logo kind of bounce.
Yes.
Oh,
and I think what was
Our age here.
what was so interesting about that is just like the motion for people of a certain age who remember that. We were talking about nostalgia earlier, Tiffany, like that exact bounce motion triggers extreme nostalgia. It doesn't like take out everything else. It could be a black dot on a white screen doing that kind of motion. You would still get it. So
That's
that's
true.
just what I'm just trying to get at is, yeah, like dissect like what you responded to about it. And then you can determine like, is that something borrowable, or would that be weird if we borrowed that, or like, ripped off of that? And if that would just, if the thing that is cool about it wouldn't work for us, okay, it was fun. I looked at it. I did a little exercise in creative problem solving and brainstorming. Maybe that's just not the one for us. Moving on. Keep my eyes out for something else next time.
I love that.
Did I
yeah,
answer the
so
question?
true. Yeah. Just wanted to add something.
Yes, please.
That you said like, is it us, right? Try it, but is it still us? I think still keeping in mind, are we still talking to the same target audience, or are we totally just doing it because it's trendy? Because
Yeah.
trends, I think it's general, like just coming from my past life in like fashion and beauty, I think trends is not just like generic across all of us. It will be trendy for this age group, trendy for that
Oh,
age group.
yes.
So what is the trend? Don't pick the trend that you see most often, that you're most exposed to, because that may not be the trend that resonates with your audience.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or to your point, like, or fits with your brand. Like, we work with
exactly.
brands, even though all of our clients are in financial services, in, some in lots in the same corner, but some in other different corners. It's all financial services. The brands we work with are so different. We have some that are extremely modern, innovative, cutting edge. That's what they pride themselves on. That's what they do. And we have some that are very traditional, formal, and that's what works for them. Like, and that's good. That's fine. A couple years ago, the trend was bright colored gradients, or maybe it's even just last year before. Gradients are always in style, whatever. But the point is, those innovative those cutting edge modern brands who have always been like that, they can hop on that trend and find a way to make it work for them, no problem. The formal, modern, formal, traditional ones, there ain't no way they can make that work for them. It is going to feel weird no matter what they do. Just let that one pass.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
And that's okay.
I love that. Okay, well, as we start to wrap up, because the time is clicking along here, according to my stopwatch. I know we need to do one takeaway. Spoiler alert, we did not plan this ahead of time. So, Ellie's got one. Great, because I
one.
Gonna make
I
one.
volunteer to tribute this time.
Yes.
Mine is have a defined way that anyone in your team, especially if you're a small team, like without, a marketing team or a VP of marketing or an internal marketing agency, especially if you're either way, but have a dedicated and formally established and communicated way that people can submit ideas. Who do they submit it to? How do they submit it? Even if it's like, hey, I saw this thing on TikTok. What if we did something like that? Or you know what I mean? Because even though I feel like like I said at the beginning, I feel like I've been the Debbie Downer on this call, being like, be creative, but make sure it's appropriate for you. Just like the cautionary tale, then it's appropriate if you go for it. Where was I going with that? Oh, even though that was how I led off, my biggest pet peeve in my job truly is like missed opportunities and missed ideas, like ideas that just die on the vine, or because someone didn't know how to make it a reality or didn't know who to pass it to. Like sometimes you're, the front desk person might have a really amazing idea, but how does that make it up to anyone to do anything with? So yeah, even if it's simple as like, do you write it down and put it in a box? Do you just send it to a certain email address? Is there's a Slack channel of like, hey, crazy ideas, no idea too crazy, just throw it out there. And then who's in charge, has someone in charge, not only have a way to submit them, have a person who is, even if it's not a marketing person, someone who is in charge of saying, oh, yes, let's do that one. That one would work for us. Let's give it a shot.
I love that. You kind of stole mine. So we'll just make that the one, because I think that's it. Because yeah, it takes all the pressure off of the person in marketing, right? Because otherwise you become the person that has to spend all your days on TikTok or wherever finding the newest ideas. But if you can just take the pressure off and just say, hey, send them in. You see something, we'll look to create it. Man, so much better.
We kind of joked about it before. Remember, Tiffany? If you see something, say something. But if you see something creative, if you see something interesting, say something.
Yes.
I want to add to that to say that I totally love that idea, and I also would recommend that if you have that, and it's not like a one person makes that final decision kind of thing, you have a panel of people that you need to get, like leadership on board, something like this. Also make sure that you have a way of kind of scoring ideas systematically, so you're not going by feelings, because otherwise you're going to be like, oh, I feel this will work, oh, I really like that, or
Yeah, kind of how it ties into your bigger picture.
Yeah, then you can say, well, we've all scored these 5 ideas. This is the one that scored the highest. We're gonna try this. It makes it more systematic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that scoring can probably be based on like, well, we're already in social media. We're already doing LinkedIn. It's just a LinkedIn idea versus like join TikTok. Like,
do we need to invest money?
How much is work? Yeah, how much money? Yeah.
How much time do we need? Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Anything else that we forgot to talk about? All the things.
We could go on and on.
I know.
Don't tempt us.
Topic. Yeah, I feel like we talk about it a lot offline, so I'm glad we could.
More to come.
Public. Awesome. All right. Well, if you loved this conversation, which I know you must have, head on over to outaboutcommunications.com/community to get on the newsletter list and make sure you don't miss any of these conversations. We're going to keep talking about some like 2026 trendy type of stuff. And then we have some really great topics moving into the rest of the year. So that's about it. So tune next time. I can't remember exactly which one we're talking about because we're recording a bunch coming up here. But it's going to be a good topic, whichever one it was. So make sure you subscribe and do all the things. And we will see everyone next time. Thanks so much.